look, in addition with the physical stuff, what you just said about fear is fascinating. I had to re-examine my own relationship with fear about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when I had a guy come on my show that ended up kind of mentoring me for many years and really pushed me when it came to my own risk taking. And I wasn't really taking the risks I needed to grow as an entrepreneur, to grow in a lot of other ways. And so now I kind of engineer risk into my life. And now I try to do things that I know have a chance of failure, because I know without doing that, I have a chance of stagnating or dying. And that's true always about business. But it's interesting you say that.
Yeah, my friend Laird Hamilton, the big wave surfer,
Yeah.
who's a good friend, he has maintained, and I just think it's the right way to think about it, is try to do one thing every day that scares you, actually scares you. And let's not kid ourselves. Sometimes that's having a conversation with my wife,
Yeah.
right?
Amen.
Sometimes it's that, right? And sometimes it's it's other stuff. But I think it's really, really important. Part of it is this. So here's a weird tidbit. So by training up risk tolerances, you're keeping yourself open to experiences. So openness to experience is really important for successful aging, healthy aging, peak performance aging. But here's the weirdest part. They were looking at like the big 5 psychological characteristics, of which openness to experience is one. And they want to see, are they related to health and longevity? They're all related to health in one way or another, but only openness to experience is related to longevity. And you can see this when there is a massive decline in openness to experience, or big decline in openness to experience. People are usually dead within a year. It's literally that tight. Openness to experience massively declines. Start the clock is what the data tells us. So risk aversion, right? Training down risk aversion is also training up openness to experience. And, that seems to have some serious benefits too in keeping us alive and healthy.
Super important. Interesting you say about these older people. I think it was like 8 years ago, Stephen, when I had the author Jared Diamond on my show. I don't know if you know him, but he wrote the book Guns, Germs, and Steel.
Yeah.
And back then, I didn't have all the fancy cameras,
Right,
and I wasn't wearing a suit. I was in my old studio with my webcams on the thing, and he was, I think, 77 at the time, right? And he rolls up. First of all, I can't even believe he's coming over to my my studio. I was like, oh my God, because I'd read his book, and he was in town, and there weren't a lot of podcasts back then. And he rolled up, and what really shocked me was he told me his age, and he didn't act like that at all. I mean, he was 77, and he was like, I'm like, what's next for you? And he's like, I got a book next year. I got a book in 2 years. I got a book in 3 years. And I was like, Jesus, this guy's, he's going to be putting the pedal to the metal through his 80s. And I was one of the first times I noticed that. And funny, now that I look at all of your data here, it's like, well, here's a guy who's out there teaching, innovating, putting his ideas. They have to be tested. He's out there researching. So he's probably doing all of these things that are keeping him cognitively present. And then I have a bunch of recent guests, like Robert Kiyosaki, author Rich Dad Poor Dad, 77, crushing it. Jim Rickard, same thing. He's in Antarctica right now, climbing glaciers. And again, he's on my show. He's flying to Japan. Dan Pena, he's up at his castle, yelling at kids all week long. All 77, 78 years old, arguably at the top of their game, arguably still going up. And just really interesting to note, and like you said, a cognitive test or an age test would not do them justice of who they really are as people.
Interesting. So it's similar, little related, but it just happened the other day. It really stayed with me. I was skiing, and so if you've read In Our Country, there's some really big lines that I see in that book. I went back and re-skied all the biggest lines in Our Country that I had skied, and I did it multiple times just to make sure the dead stay dead. But it was maybe the rowdiest ski day I've ever had, and I'm 55 years old, and my ski partner was with me. And he's 35 years old. They're 20 years younger than me. But he somebody said something to us on a chairlift about you know, oh yeah, if I was only my 18-year-old self, I would ski that kind of line, like the geezer dust, right? And Ryan, my ski partner, looked at the guy. He just sort of leans forward and looks at him and goes, "What are you freaking talking about? I would crush my 18-year-old self." In fact, I've out-skied him massively today. And I was thinking like, oh my God, like forget about it. This was the best ski day of my entire life. And I'm 55, right? Like period. I don't think I could have done, I couldn't have done it at 50, 45, like definitely not at 18, like was not nearly together enough. And, that's the thing that's really interesting. And you saying, no, I thought they were like, they're at their peak form at 77, right? Or 78. And I don't know what that, I can't even imagine. I think, okay, that's 23 years from now. Oh, cool. Okay. I want that. But one of the things that makes it seem a little more feasible, possible, doable, real is, holy crap, I'm doing things professionally and personally at 55 that I'll take my present self over myself at any other point in my life, in my career, for all the skills, pretty much.
Yeah. One final.
I think you might want my 21-year-old, 22-year-old self. You're in a drinking contest.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can think of. Like, you might want my younger self if you want to drink me. Okay, but other than that.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, got to do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I am just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just an overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you got to pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.